Welcome to the special Travelcast of the Neil Haley Show, the Storehouse Media Group Podcast, and Criminally Good. Our host for the Criminally Good podcast are Sherrie, Clarke, and Jennifer Clarke Eskew. Who's our guest today, guys?
Well, our guest is John Matthews. Welcome, John.
Well,
And
thank you.
who is John? John, you have so many things that are so admirable. First of all, John was a former chief of police. He has over 4 decades in law enforcement experience, and he was well known for the investigation and arrest of Dallas's first serial killer. And then we get into winemaking. So John is the founder and owner of Casera Winery and Vineyards. And John, I understand it gets some really good ratings, like really good wine, that you're serving up. And then he has True Crime and Wine, which is in his background, and he has a podcast. So you're a busy boy, John, but welcome to our Trimocast.
Thank you for having me on. And this is just great. And that's all I did. It was pretty simple. I blended my two passions, right? Law enforcement with winemaking. We came up with True Crime and Wine. The audience and the listeners drink wine. Well, I talk about murder. It doesn't get any better than that for the true crime fan, right?
I think most of them would really, really enjoy that quite a bit. In fact, all of them probably would.
Well, it's my understanding that what you do is you go to these different wineries and you're like, "Hey, I'll just come and talk," and you'll be standing room only. People will come to hear the retired chief of police, serial killer capturer, and drink their wine, and it's standing room only.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. We've had over 100 sellouts at wineries, not just my winery, wineries in Texas, wineries all over the country. Matter of fact, in 2 weeks, I'm starting another national tour. We're going to Ohio, Idaho, Montana, Virginia, Florida. We're hitting California. We're going all over the country. And what I do is, I love talking with the audience. I've been in the media a very long time, and I love the interaction. I love talking with the audience. And we profile not only my serial killer, but serial killers from all over the world. We do it together. Yes, the audience is 85% women. I say the other 15% are probably hostages, but 85% women. They love drinking wine and they love asking those true crime questions. They've been listening to the podcast. They've watched all the television shows that we've done. And to get to talk in person, it's a great experience. I love it, and I think the audience really likes it. And yeah, we're selling out all over the country, so it's a really fun thing to kind of do.
Sounds fantastic. You're going to Virginia, you said. That's kind of my stomping grounds. I spent the first 50 plus years of my life there. So I'm in Georgia now.
Okay, well, and we're actually going to Georgia too. So I've done a lot of work for the government, spent about 30 years in Washington working with all the different federal agencies. My wife says the alphabet soup, DOJ and DHS and DOE, just all of them. So I know Virginia very well. My son is up there and stationed up there. So love going up there. We're going to be doing a couple of wineries in Virginia, finished a couple of them earlier. Going to go to Georgia also. They're on the list for back-to-back shows in October. So yeah, it's amazing the requests that come in from around the country for folks saying, "Hey, John, will you want to come out and share your story? Talk about how you caught a serial killer." And after CrimeCon, Sherrie and I visited CrimeCon. We had hundreds of requests. We're still trying to keep up on those requests, but the folks are interested. People want to know the why and the how. They want to try to figure that out. They want to try to say, how could somebody be so horrible? How could somebody have committed these crimes? And thank God, most of us are good people, honest people, and we can't even fathom that kind of evil. So to give them a little insight, I think it's a good deal.
Well, John, so you've got this illustrious career that you've gone from law enforcement to winemaking. Whatever got you interested, involved in law enforcement in the first place?
Well, I was kind of born into it. Literally, they barely got me out of the back seat of my dad's squad car and into the hospital. Mom is like, thanks. She didn't want to have me in the back seat. But no, I was literally born into it. Grew up in a law enforcement family. And I knew for a long time, graduated college a little bit early with a bachelor's in business, immediately started on my master's, but joined the Dallas Police Department, straight out of college and very fresh, very young, barely old enough to buy bullets. And that kind of launched me on a career that basically has lasted for the last 42 years. The last 30, I've been traveling the country teaching other law enforcement officers. We've trained over 100,000 officers, and my specialty is serial killers and mass shooters. And so being able to help put some of these guys behind bars, being able to help some of the families recover their victims. There's a lot of really satisfying things about law enforcement. And I got to tell you, it has been a wonderful career. I didn't say easy, I didn't say fun, I didn't say not traumatic, but it has been a wonderful career because every once in a while, we get that thank you for making this world just a little bit better.
You put in a lot of years with it. I was going to ask you, at what point when you're out there doing the law enforcement career and you've had a lot of things going on, you've been out there teaching and all, did it just say, I want to start making wine. I'm going to grow some grapes. I'm going to have some wine. I mean,
Well,
when did that hit that I'm going to really I have a winery?
Well, actually, I've been making wine since I was very young, for about the last 40 years. My family is from Italy. That's what they did when they came to this country. Kind of grew up with wine too in my family. Started making it as a hobby. The hobby kind of grew. Nothing really planned. I would send the bottles to friends and to clients and folks like that. We'd have it at parties. But after we put in a small vineyard, because I said, I really need to find a place where I can relax, get away from what I've been doing, the shootings, the stabbings, the rapes, the homicides. And I put in a few vines and I found it relaxing. I asked my wife if I could put in a few more. She said yes. Didn't realize till the truck pulled up with 500 vines that I was putting in a lot more. And when we got to about 2,000, she said, you can't drink all of this. And we opened a tasting room here south of Dallas. And we really specialize in, kind of my heritage. I just got back from Sicily a couple days ago, and we make Italian wines and specialize in dry red. So Sangiovese, Dolcetto, Trebbiano, Tiroldigo, Montepulciano. That's what we specialize in. And for whatever reason, I think the judges have taken a liking to the old style winemaking that we do, the non-chemical winemaking, the aging. And we've been fortunate. We've been so lucky. We've got over 125 international medals. And the crime scene bottle you see behind me, that wine alone won double gold. That's the highest award in any international competition out of 3,200 wineries and 24 countries. So we're really proud about the wine and hope people enjoy it.
That's pretty
Well, I
insane.
love the logo.
I love it too.
In the wine.
Yeah,
So
but
ingenious.
he's also, I mean, it's like the family tradition. Your dad was a cop. The family tradition, the family's from Italy, and it's the wine. We were winemakers. We were into the wines. You've carried it on. Have you got writers in the family too? Are there authors in the family?
Well, my sons are also carrying it on. So two of my sons work in the tasting room. They help me making the wine, do all aspects of the winemaking. They're great. My other son is actually a special agent with the FBI. So the boys are kind of carrying on dad's tradition a little bit. As far as writing, we'll see. We'll see. They're still pretty young. Let them get a little more experience, and yeah, I think they'll be able to pen a book or two. It's not that difficult.
So, what is your ultimate goal with the podcast?
For me, therapy, Neil. That's really what it is. Being able to talk about what I call man's inhumanity to man and process that kind of helps me process what I've been through and what I've seen and what I've dealt with and the families and the horror that's out there. Some of that stuff gets pretty heavy, you know? And so the podcast really helps me to shine a light on the profiling aspect and why it's so important for us in law enforcement. We're not trying any magical get inside their head, understand anything. We're trying to say, how do we put these pieces of the puzzle together to solve these crimes and to explain to the public how horrific some of this stuff really is? Because unfortunately, you know, people are watching true crime on TV, they're listening on podcasts, they kind of get desensitized to the real horror that's going on. And if I can bring a real world experience to that and give them a different perspective, I couldn't believe it. At CrimeCon this year, there's 7,000 people. There's hundreds of podcasters. I'm the only one with a law enforcement background that's caught a serial killer. Everybody else are entertainers. So I'm trying to bring some of my experience to the general public out there.
And I guess adding that wine component's great promotion for your wine.
Well, I said my degrees are in business, my bachelor's, master's, and some of my PhD work. I just did a little research and I found the nexus. And that's how I caught the serial killer. And the nexus of wine drinkers and true crime lovers is almost an exact overlay. It's almost the exact demographic. I'm making wine anyway. Why not do a show? Why not talk to the people? Let them enjoy the wine, and I'll talk about the crime.
Wow.
I like the way you put that together. That's excellent, and I totally believe that. All my friends that I know that are wine drinkers seem to have an interest in true crime one way or the other, whether it's watching the TV shows or listening to podcasts or the avid readers. They really enjoy that. You did the book, The Eyeball Killer.
Yep.
That was that your first book, or was that just the book that put it all together for the true crime?
No, that was my first nationally published book. It was picked up by Pinnacle Books and then Doubleday and just exploded. I never expected it would get that big. Ended up winning the National True Crime Book of the Month award and some other things. It just really exploded. And, you know, since then, I've been able to build on that a little bit with some of my special areas in school safety and mass shootings. And right now, we're putting the finishing touches on a brand new book for true crime lovers. It's called Serial Killers 101, a true crime lover's guide. So again, trying to marry everything together a little bit here and know that our true crime lovers like the podcast, they like the television shows, they like the books, and you know, putting it together a little bit. So I think this will be book number 8 when it comes out.
Wonderful.
So what is your book, The Serial Killer 101? What's that about?
Well, I'm doing what I do on the podcast. I'm breaking down a lot of different serial killers from around the world and trying to explain kind of in simple terms. That's why it's called 101. Different aspects of behavioral characteristics and victimology, crime scenes, what we look for in law enforcement, the way that we kind of put some of the pieces of the puzzle together so that when you're sitting there and you're watching the true crime show, maybe you have a little more insight. I get asked all the time, well, was Jack the Ripper the first serial killer? No, he wasn't. Right? He was one of the first big true crime serial killers, but we've had serial killers forever, as long as we've had people. We just didn't know what to call them. And so I started looking, back in time and back at some of the horrific crimes that were committed and realized when people were saying things like zombies and werewolves and vampires, they were trying to get their hands around horrific crimes that had occurred, and they were really talking about serial killers. So I'm trying to make this a book for true crime lovers to give them a little bit of insight and a little bit of background. And a little bit of law enforcement knowledge. One of the other things I did is I developed a little model because we know that if a serial killer is arrested, say for 5 murders and convicted of that, he probably did 20 or 25, right? Like the Times Square
Yeah.
killer. He was convicted of 18, confessed to 80, but we know he did about 120. So just trying to explain how those numbers work out, and hopefully the true crime lovers will
Right.
enjoy it.
Now, thinking about serial killers, the most popular thing in the true crime genre, in my opinion, serial killers. Where do you think see this brand going, especially with some of the shows, Ed Gein, for example, on Netflix, and how it kind of promoted Ed Gein as a good person, which I didn't like at all. And that whole thing in Netflix didn't do a great job of that storyline in a way of really looking at his bad problems from childhood versus, hey, look at him being like honored as something when he was a horrible man. Where do you see this with so many people just so into serial killers?
Well, again, that's why I'm trying to steer the conversation a little bit. So whether it's the Ed Gein show or Woman of the Hour, Anna Kendrick show, I don't feel that they're painting serial killers as these horrible,
No.
horrific monsters, right? They have a story they want to tell. They have a certain narrative they want to put forward. But I want to make sure, and I'll just give you an example, Neil. After Woman of the Hour came out, a lot of my folks that watch my show and listen to podcasts said, can you do a show on Rodney Alcala? Because we don't think that movie was right. And when I did the show and showed them how horrific his crimes were, they just couldn't believe it because it never showed up in the Netflix show.
Well, I'll give you one more example of it. The remake of the one in North Carolina. It's on Apple TV. It'll come to me in a second. They tried to make him the bad guy, the killer, feel for him in so many ways, and made the victims look like idiots. I
And
wonder why they're doing that.
I don't know. It's absolutely ridiculous because what you're doing is you're giving empathy to an individual that cannot feel empathy. He has no empathy for those victims. He has no remorse. He is out there to get his pleasure, whatever that is, and he does not care about a human life. And so I think it's ridiculous that we're painting these
Right.
guys like
Cape Fear. It
this.
was Cape Fear. Who saw the remake of
Yeah.
Cape Fear? It's the series. It was
Yeah.
terrible. It made the victims look like the idiots. They were really, truly the criminals. Jennifer, are you seeing that? Or am I watching too much television compared to
No,
you guys?
I'm seeing it. I'm picking up on it on Netflix and a couple of the others out there that are making these shows on killers. As our guest John has said, they don't have any empathy for their victim. The BTK, give me a break. That
Yeah.
guy doesn't have any empathy for anybody in any way. Never has. It's all about what satisfied him and what he was going to do and how he was going to have the power and control. They all are that way. The one I'm researching now, I talked to my friend who arrested him, and he says he was so laissez-faire, just basically very could care less. He was like, let's just get this over with so I can go ahead and get back to doing what I was doing because, are you done with me yet? I mean, he didn't care.
Right.
Neil, if I could give you an example, right? I had a podcast consultant contact me, right? And he said, "Hey, I really want to make your podcast bigger and better. And you're featuring these serial killers no one's ever heard of." Well, yes, that's true because I'm looking at unique and fascinating cases that have a twist. And he said, you got to stop that. You got to focus on Bundy and Gacy and BTK and Richard Ramirez because that's who the people want to hear about. And I'm not going to do it.
No,
I'm
so
not going to do
so
it.
as a podcast consultant too, and podcast strategist, that's not it. It's the bottom line. If you're going to go and do that, you're just trying to clickbait versus
Right.
providing value and long term. You would rather have 1,000 raving fans than 1,000,000 followers, and that's what you have to do when you build a brand. People make the mistake. Okay, we're just going to cop because honestly, you can beat the internet anytime by seeing what the hottest topics are, run social media, and get viral. But the people who you get to view the content are never your buyers.
Right.
So those clicks doesn't mean anything. Those listens don't mean anything unless it's your ideal people. Period.
Well, and Neil, let me tell you, at my shows, it has been absolutely amazing. Because you're exactly right about it. I'd rather have that 1,000 that care and committed than a million. I don't need a million. What, I mean, it'd be wonderful, but I've had people show up the show that said, I dated a serial killer. I was in the dorm when Bundy killed the girls. I had a serial killer in my house, and the cops found his fingerprints and they stayed on my door for over a week. The people that come to the shows care. They've experienced some of this. I had one lady walk up and say, talking about one of the victims of my serial killer, when he dumped the body on the street in front of an elementary school, right? For shock value. She walked up to me afterwards in tears and she said, I know you don't remember me because I was only 6, but I found her there on the street when me and mom were walking to school that morning. Those are the people that I'm connecting with and that are going to the show and listening to the podcast. And I think it's amazing. I love their stories.
And that's the bottom line, because here's the thing. That's the missing component. And that's what people forget. They think they want to get the millions and millions and millions of views. Yes, you're building it, but if you don't have that total addressable market for your brand, you rather reach every true crime fan that loves wine. And that's a smaller demographic that's wealthy because they can spend for it. And you're going to make way more money at the end of the day than getting all of the TAM. And that's the mistake people make, for sure. Back to you, Jen. I mean, Sherrie and Jen. See, Jen and Sherrie.
You got it in your head.
I was going to say, with the whole serial killer, and John, I appreciate what you're doing on your podcast, because this whole romanticizing these serial killers, we can see in the news how it's sending the wrong message. And, letting them know the serial killer, what that little kid found, the 6-year-old. I mean, how did that child get over that? And for shock value, that's what the serial killer wanted. So, I'm glad you're exposing them.
Well, and nearly 40 years later, it's clear she didn't get over it, right? It's clear she didn't get over it if she came up to me after the show and talked to me about it. I've even had people come up during the show and say, can I hire you? And I'm like, no, I'm law enforcement. I don't do anything privately. And they've said, can I hire you? I'll pay you whatever. My mom is a serial killer and I need to prove it. Or my dad was killed by a serial killer, but I can't prove it. So it's amazing. The folks that listen, the folks that show up, and I love the interaction.
Are we going to see you back at Crime Con in September next year?
We'll see. I don't know. I've got to look at my calendar and see how it goes. I enjoy going to Crime Con. I really enjoy visiting with the folks out there, especially when they come up and, they're wearing a T-shirt or they talk about one of the podcasts or something that really struck them. So that's the value I get out of it, talking to the people.
I will say I love my True Crime and Wine T-shirt, John.
All right.
I wear it.
She was bragging all over the place. I'm over there at my booth working, with the book, and I don't have time for it. Sherrie's out there good to see and meet and greet everybody. She comes right back. She goes, I just met John Matthews. He's got the wine. I said, wine? She goes, True Crime and Wine. And I was like, okay. I said, that's where's he at? You didn't bring me any wine by any choice. She, no. But she was telling me, but she was showing me her shirt, and she was really thrilled that she'd gotten to meet you. And so when we created the Criminally Good, she's like, we have to get John in. We have to get him on the show.
Well, I appreciate it. I wish I could have brought wine. My gosh, do you know how many people would have been at my booth? They won't let me do it because I take over the whole show. But I'd love to be able to bring the wine and give it out to everybody.
Yep. Yeah, I'd probably be saying, Jennifer, who? You gotta get back to your booth.
Oh my goodness. What a great show, guys. Best place, John, we can connect with you. Where can we go?
CasaroWines.com for the wines. You can order wines online. It's CASSARO. And if you want to find out about the True Crime and Wine show, if you'd like to host a show, bring it to your community, truecrimeandwine.com. It doesn't get any easier, right? Truecrimeandwine.com or CasaroWines.com. Those are the two best ways.
All right. Thanks again, John. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Go to storehousemediagroup.com for all things publishing, podcasting, and media, and Eskew.com for a book. Appreciate it, guys. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show, Storehouse Media Group Podcast, and Criminally Good. Take care. So you said you had a podcast consultant contact you, John. Would you say, what do you think your biggest challenges are trying to get this podcast out further?
Yeah, trying to get it out. That's exactly right. We put out shorts and we do stuff on social media, but it's been a really slow growth as far as how big the true crime market is. And I just don't know how to crack that nut. That's not my forte. I can catch a serial killer, but I'm not great at turning a podcast into a million viewer podcast like yours.
So I'd love to talk to you about it and tell you what I do if you're being call.
Sherrie's got my email and phone number. Please share it with Neil.
Yeah, and I'll just sit down and I want to see, because here's the thing. I've worked with NHL Wraparound Podcast. They had I've tripled their downloads, plus also had no social media viewers, and they're getting about 3 million a month now, and they're really growing. So, and then that leads to the sponsorship. And there's ways to land sponsors right now based on what you're doing, especially with your events that you do and stuff like that. It's strategic. So you have a podcast producer, but no real chief marketing officer of what you're doing.
No, and my producer is just a friend that she's doing it, as a favor. She figured out how to run Riverside. So it's not even a professional crew or anything, but I think we do a very good quality podcast. I know the topics are great. Matter of fact, the guy that called me, I was going up the elevator at CrimeCon. He yelled out my name. He apparently researched me and listened to the podcast. And he said, "I love your content, but I have no idea why you don't have 5 million viewers."
So that's where we have to strategically talk about those things. And I think that you're willing to invest in that if you see an ROI return on investment. So we'll have a conversation, see if we're the fit. And if we are, we can just keep rolling and we get something started. So I'll get a call scheduled. Where are you located, John?
Yeah, just south of Dallas.
South of Dallas. Okay, because I'm about landed a client in Denton. So there would be an opportunity to connect when I go out to Denton, Texas. And because I'm going to go do a Texas trip, because I have a client in Houston, now potentially Denton, that we start tomorrow maybe. And then I have an event I'm supposed to attend in Dallas in November. So if I can hit all those things, that could be a potential. If we're working together already, where we could strategically meet. So let's have a call. Let's see where things are going. I think especially on the wine side, it's always good you have a two-hitter. I can help you with the wine. I can and the other, and put all those things together and be that brain for you that you might be missing. Okay.
No, that sounds great. I grew up in Denton, and we have a great partnership with the University of North Texas. Actually, produce a UNT wine, and I'm going to go up there and do a tasting for them.
So, how's your wine doing? Good.
Really good. Yeah. Again, we're not Walmart wine. So people have to know that, kind of going in. We do mostly Italian varietals. We, do have some Tempranillo, though, Spanish and Portuguese. But yeah, no, the wine is doing good, especially in this market when wine sales are down. The True Crime and Wine brand has stayed very, very steady.
All right. Fantastic. I'll definitely connect with, get the contact information, text you, John, and we'll try to jump on a call this week. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. You're awesome.
John.
Really good. You have the potential of the real potential of blowing it up. And it could be just little logistics. You run these things and try to do it yourself. Then I look, and I'm not going to look at your topics. I'm going to stick to what you want. But then you got to build the community that wants what you want and your expertise versus hitting those big, like serial killers that you rather educate people on other ones. And that's fine. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. John, I'm going to get an address from Sherrie for you. I got something I'm just going to send you. I think you'll like it. You may not, but we'll see.
Awesome.
Just for something for you. Just something. It's going to come off my family farm in Virginia.
Oh, awesome. Very
Okay.
good. Well, thank you very much. And Sherrie, thank you for coordinating this and setting it up. I really appreciate it. Any plug we can get, anything we can do to help out. And you've been wonderful. So thank you so much for it.
Thank you, John.
Thanks.
I hope it was good, and I hope I gave you what you needed.
Oh,
Thank you,
absolutely.
John. You
Absolutely.
did.
Thank
That's
you.
good.
All right. Yeah, I'll
Thank
take
you.
care. Bye-bye.
Thank
All right, thanks.
Bye. Bye.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Next one's at 3, right?
Yeah, the next
So we have a
one's
little
at
break. So
3.
Sherrie and I'll just jump on our call, letting her know she's got business already at one close. That what's his name? I have a client, New Calm now. That just got paid today, Sherrie. So that's another client of ours.
Newcom,
And
what's that?
New Calm is involving Jody. It's New Calm Public Safety, and it's a app that helps with uh, the whole nervous reset. It's almost like neuro reset in certain aspects and all this stuff. But he is growing. It's $1 billion company that he's a part of, the president of the public safety division, potentially could be the CEO. We're doing a podcast. He's working with all these top people, and he gave me a big piece of the pie of the company on the way of he's trying to brand for affiliates and all that. So we'll make you a sponsor of the podcast, another one of the sponsors of the podcast, just like the Chef Eats. I got to look at all the different sponsors. So you'll have sponsors rolling earlier before anybody else, and they don't have to know that they're affiliates. So you have sponsors to your podcast, which you can put those sponsor logos right up on the Criminally Good thing. So that'll really brand you even further for all the affiliate opportunities. But he's on board. So he came on.
So we're getting a piece of his business?
Yeah, you and I'll get a piece of the business once. Yeah, I mean, I get a piece of the 20%, and I'll give you a cut of that, like I said, for anything that comes through my affiliate deal with him. But I have a big piece of the business too. So look up Newcom, Nucalm, and it's Newcom Public Safety Division. And his name's Ryan Lane, Lyane, and he came from Jody. So so we're good to go on that one. And I'm gonna let Jennifer go till she comes back.
If you want to take me out, because I'm gonna be back for the 3, but I was going to say, would Sherrie, you sent me something or gonna send me something so I can just print it out to have it on
Email,
I don't want to remove. You have to learn how to
Facebook.
leave, so I don't have to remove you, or I'll have to start a new meeting.
Okay.
Email.
I'm just gonna start a new meeting.
Look in your email.
I've got it.
Okay.
Look in your
You
email.
don't have to do that? Okay. All right. So so also let's go with other people updates. Pushing up Lily's is gonna become a client. We start tomorrow. Kickoff call and pay. I'm getting all these through credit card.
Am I invoicing her or
Nope.
how's that work?
No, I'm taking all because they all want credit card. And I take credit cards.
Oh,
So I'm getting
okay.
straight payment, boom, taking the fee, giving you guys the percentage. Well, it's just 1% for that one, but that's $1,000 a month, and that starts tomorrow too. So
Okay, so this new calm, how much you're getting a month, and how much am I getting?
Oh, you're gonna get it's Jody, so it's gonna be $300. You get 150. Jody gets 150. So I'm taking the 300 more off of the 520. You're down to 220, and this one comes through, which is the 1,000, 20%, 1,000, 10. It'd be 200. So you'd be down to $20 paying a month now.
Okay, so I'm down to $20. And let me ask you something else. Oh, this other guy, let me finish because I'm very excited about our next guest. But what else do we have? I'm excited.
I already got another lead from the thing, so I'm gonna keep doing this thing. I just don't want to put what's her name involved because it just becomes too much of a logistic nightmare. But she did finally hit one that was a hit, and his name was. And I'm going to text him, meaning Kay. So Kay booked somebody that was a coach, but he was an executive coach, and I closed him. Ed Chafin, he wants me to build out a webinar for him and all these different things. He did 15,000, 30,000 a client. He works with the corporate world, and he wants me to text him, and he wants to work with me. So that was somebody that came through the Storehouse thing. So that I'm talking to Cheryl tonight. Cheryl might be interested in the podcast as well. Everything is blowing up where it's going to end up being I'm paying you and setting money as we've gone through the entire retainer through sales. It's crazy, right? But
Yeah.
it's coming through really well.
But
So
these are Storehouse Media clients, right? Okay. So whenever we get ready, I've got stuff to share. So whenever you get done with yours, I'm
I'm done with
excited.
anything right now. We're just going to let it go. There's a lot more to hang our hats on. But Ryan Lane's a client, got paid.
Here, or is that mine?
And then I'm going to close John Matthews too. So that's another client. It's ridiculous. So you're finally seeing this funnel of what you guys created with Criminally Good that there's going to be 20 to 30% that are ideal clients for me. And that's okay. And it's not book authors. It's ones that have money that want to promote their podcast. That's where I bring no more commodity for me. And that's what I want you to start leveraging yourself too. My coach is telling me no more commodity, lead with authority. No more of the commodity stuff like anybody can do. Differentiate yourself for the things only you can do. And
Okay.
that's what I am. As a
right.
podcast consultant, as a CMO, I beat everybody. And then I have the authority of being a nationally syndicated podcast that, and you know what? If you type in as Neil Haley a celebrity, they say yes on AI, meaning on Google. So basically, because I'm the number 22 celebrity podcast in the world, I'm under the celebrity side. That helps even more in our leveraging. So
Okay. All right. Well, one thing is not to blow this whole thing. I'm okay with it, but Mary cannot go to the film festival. And I never
okay.
heard back from Jeff. I'm okay.
No, it's just you so far, and I'll find someone to fit in your spot with you. So don't worry. So
I don't mind it. I've done
no.
I've done
Why did Mary just say she changed her mind?
She said, I said, well, I want to talk to you about the film festival. When is that? And I told her, she goes, oh, man, darn, I'm going to be in Texas then. I said, okay.
So does she know of anybody? No, we don't want any of her Fruit Loops, so
No,
we'll let it go.
no,
No, let's
no.
just. I'll find somebody in storytelling with you, and I think, and Jeff can't go either.
I haven't heard back from him, which tells me I
He
don't
was
think
full
so.
of crap.
Yeah. So this next guy, his name's T. Casey Fleming, and I think I just typed in Casey Fleming. I said, oh, he's a financial guy. Oh dear God, no. This guy is huge. He came to me from actually a Christian publicist. And he is a chief officer of Black Ops Partners Corporation. And they capture and they invest. He works for all the alphabets in Washington, D.C., including the White House, everything else, to capture these companies and espionage and honeypots, and it's all about catching these
Oh yeah. Also, I
spies.
have to call somebody really quick. They try to call me, involving the author thing. Can I give me 1 second? That's cool.
Sure.
Yeah, because
It is cool.
one group. Let's see. Let me call them. I'll tell them. It's no big deal. I can change the calendar myself. Let me just put you on mute. I'll be right back. It's a fire. So this one publishing company's booking authors for me, $395 for every 30-minute interview. And they're booking like crazy for me. I'm like,
Well,
nice.
yeah, awesome. Awesome.
That is such a big business share. We have to look at that in a way with how they're attracting these authors and you to do outreach. And I'll do it as you, like to all these places that have the author feeders because they might not have a good publisher. And this is for you always to say, hey, let you know I'm an award-winning publisher. If you ever want to talk about your book, that's another lead gen opportunity for you to do. So, okay.
Yeah.
TK Casey Fleming. Let me look him up.
Oh, he is he has some stories and what they do. And like I said, okay, he came to me from a publicist. What does that tell you? He's trying to get his stuff out there, right?
The hardest part is if it came from a publicist, it's very hard to make a move with them. That is the challenge because they are gatekeepers. They are the biggest gatekeepers in the world. If they left that publicist, but I'm looking, TK is a woman then, right?
No, T Casey. T, the initial T, and then Casey, Casey, and then Fleming, Fleming.
I see him. Yeah. He would
Like
be, he's gonna be a good guess. You thought he was a financial guy.
I
He's not.
did. Like I typed in the wrong name, and
That's
I'm like,
that's okay.
this is not the
So
person.
so the thing is, this is a great connection, especially for what he does. Have just an interview with him and figure out what channel we have because we have multiple channels now, Sherrie, that we're developing here at Storehouse. So there's so many different revenue stream opportunities happening.
Well, we need to talk about that.
So that's where we look at Michael's the biggest, okay? And Michael's a hard sell, and I'm working with Ryan tomorrow on some challenges that someone asked me that we are missing with Ryan with Michael. First of all, he has no real what he does as a tax strategist. There is no real one sheet to send of what he does with links verifying certain things. So Michael needs that help. That I think their website's up now, the new one that Ryan built that I helped him build because I could have built it in seconds, but that was before I thought I was a Wix guy till thank goodness I figured out how to build websites in seconds with AI. But let me see if it is up. If
Well, I reached
Rainstorm.
out to Michael and I just said, "Hey, Neil told me you were not feeling well, and just let you know I'm here. Take your time when the book will still be here. Just get well." I hadn't heard back from him, but I don't
No,
think
he's not. He. All right. Okay. So that's
I
Rainstorm
don't think
Media.
yeah, he normally doesn't respond back. So,
No,
but
he
I
doesn't. That's
thought I
why I
should.
text him all the time. And he texts me back. So okay. So
Well, I did
that's
an email. I didn't text him. I should probably. What is his number, Michael?
yeah. Michael's a busy guy. And he's going to take the last week off before Labor Day because of his health. I'm just
Yeah,
checking. So
I don't know if I have that. You'd said that once before, and I was like, "Well, where's his number?" Um, let me see, Michael. I may have it. I have it. Never mind.
okay, so Len's going to be a little bit of wild. He pays. That's okay.
Well,
He's
yeah, I told you what he wanted. It's like Lynn.
No, I
Like,
talked to him and he says something different. So he talks out of both sides of his mouth.
well,
He's
you
going to be
saw what I
something.
sent you.
Yeah. He's talking both on both sides of his mouth. And like I said, he's going to pay. He wants to keep doing the podcast. Him saying the over withdrawal. We dealt with the same thing before. Because he had that was right when he had to pay that author. And this is something you're going to get frustrated and ticked off by. But he's spending like $6,000 to publish his book with that group.
And they don't respond to him.
No, and it's
And that he won't. He keeps saying,
and
"Can you change the price of my book?" And I keep saying, "Lynn, we don't have access to
did
your
Lenny
book."
text that? Sherrie and Len, is that just from Len or is that from you? That's a group text from him, right?
Yeah, I did not do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna call him. I'm just staying in touch with him. Here's the thing. Money keeps coming in for me. I'm not gonna worry about Len down the line. He's like I said, these opportunities are gonna come. Remember, we're in Q3. If we were in Q1 and we're missing out on opportunities, I'd be like, Oh, this is gonna be a long year. This is Q3 in the worst economy in a long time, and we're killing it. So that's all we have to say. So brains,
I started co-writing the book with Troy. I told you about that, right?
yeah,
And Jennifer's either want me to ghostwrite or co-write her book with her. So
good.
that'll be after California. If I can think of somebody who's good with storytelling, I will kind of go through my contacts too. Because I may have somebody who's good. You know who's always good is just another cop. They're really good.
Right.
Um
So yeah, it's just a like I said. So KC filming, I think his fit is going to be whatever Black Ops does. We're gonna find out. Would you say he's just his story? It's more of a CEO. Is he former military? Is that why he's Black Ops?
it doesn't say anything about that, but I want to ask if he has been. And what they do is they work with corporations with espionage. So one of my questions is going to be, what does espionage look like in 2026? It's, not the cloak and dagger that we see in movies. Like, what does it look like today? How easy is it for somebody to get pulled into that position of spying? I mean, it's a really interesting conversation, I think. But he's got a publicist. He's Christian, obviously, because the publicist, Rob Moss, is Christian.
Right. See,
And he's been
so
working
that's a gatekeeper. So if Rob is around, I'm gonna always offer to see if we can move it forward. But Sherrie, it's coming because right now you're gonna be at if tomorrow closes, which I expect her to close, um, then you're looking at specifically enough $20. And then before you know it, but I think it's smart. I'm just taking these credit card payments because none of these people move through. None of them will do it except credit card. So
Well,
that's
I understand that. I do want to oh gosh, there was something. Well, I wanted to say his publicist, Rob Moss, is good friends with Donica. So we
oh
do
great.
have, yeah.
That's
So there
so
is
let's see if we can move them forward.
yeah,
Cheryl, I'm talking to tonight. Can you do the podcast tonight at 6:30 with Cheryl or not? Are you
who's Cheryl?
available? Cheryl's the one that owns this big healthcare company in Texas. I think it's Texas. She's the one that might write her story.
Oh, okay. At 6:30.
Yeah.
All right. Do I have any information on
I'll
her?
send it. Let me send you information during the interview with
Okay.
Cheryl.
All right. Yeah, 6:30. All right.
I know. My calendar's done on 6:30. I blocked out 8 to 6 and I'm done with any later. And now like I said, Kay did a good job, but the problem with Kay is she asked too many questions. We don't care about the responses. When they ask too many questions, you move on. That's the bottom line. You have a lead. That lead stays. If they can't even take the action to add it to the Calendly and they can't do their own due diligence and research, they're not our clients. Period.
I hear you.
Because again, it's not difficult to find me. It's not difficult to find you. If they don't want to do their due diligence and they want to ask 65 questions, they're not worthwhile talking to because they're going to balk on anything to buy.
Well,
So,
it's like I want to see examples of the show. Well, Google it. That's
I
it.
mean,
Google it.
seriously. Yeah.
I would. I would not insult my host by saying I need you to send me. I would be well. Thank you for asking me.
Especially when I'm asking $395 to $500 for people off cold for my bookers. Come on now. Come on now. And that's why I'm glad, but I'm handling it. I'm going to do it in a mixture of AI. AI is going to get my new leads for me and follow up with tons of people. And then I'm going to go and rip through your LinkedIn because I know exactly who are the people we can move forward. You figure out the ideal. These guys that are older are perfect candidates for writing, for books. They have to have money, some retirement, something to spend. That's when they're the gold.
And I don't think Casey's written a book.
Oh, that's so. I thought it was a book he has. He doesn't.
No,
So
it's
what
a
he's
company. Yeah, his
oh,
company.
he has big money. Yeah, yeah. If it's a company, it's big money. So
Yeah.
we'll just kind of like I said, I'll do like I moved this other person forward. And Sherrie, it's happening. Criminally Good is working its way to returning your investment, what you invested to go out there already in CrimeCon. Think about how quickly every month is going to end up paying for whatever you did with CrimeCon. And then these events continue to bring those people on because they're not cold the first time they come on. And they're the more ideal people sometimes.
Yeah, and it was a hard trip for me to make, with those 3 months. I mean, I moved literally and was on the plane the next day to Vegas. So, I'm glad I went. I'm so glad I went. Beyond this, I just met some great people. I've got to I've been it was a tough weekend, but I do want to talk to Casey, maybe bring up the fact about a book. He's got
No
that
doubt.
fresh
So then think
vision.
of moving him forward. You go with that move forward because that's perfect is the book. So let's just see how responsive he is to the situation, and we'll go from there and get
Yeah.
him to move over. Okay.
Yeah. Is that 259? I
Yeah,
can't
he's
remember.
here. Here's here, Casey. This is not true crime, right?
It is. He's got the cybersecurity
Oh,
launch and all
oh,
that
so okay,
going on.
okay, so sweet. All right.
Jennifer, there's Jennifer.
Okay, so I didn't know that. Okay, so I got him. I got y'all back, and I'll send you information on Cheryl. And I'll just
Okay.
invite you to all the interviews from now on, especially if it's a time and just say, hey, you want to come. But I don't want many of them now because I'm getting just slammed for new business.
Hi,
Hi,
Casey.
Hi, Casey.
Hello, my people.
I like that,
Hello.
my people.
Says that
All
up.
right, Jennifer, let me change
We're
your
your
name.
peeps.
Oh, again.
Hi, Casey. How are you doing?
Hi. Neil, the
Yes.
media giant.
That's right.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well.
Well,
I mean-
and Casey, we have the criminally good on because of what you do. You do true crime, and we're about true crime, good. So this is a simulcast, which the Neil Haley Show, Storehouse Media, and Criminally Good. But because of what you do, you fall into that. So
You're slowing down now, Sherrie. Oh my gosh, how did that happen?
putting this show out.
You started
Sher-
slowing down. Your internet has completely changed, Sherrie, in seconds.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
wouldn't
you're
you know
breaking
it?
up and coming and going there.
Okay.
I'm glad it wasn't just me seeing it.
No, it's
No,
not
no.
you, Casey. It's not you. Where are you located, Casey?
I office in DC, but I live in Houston, Texas.
Interesting.
Oh, another
Okay.
Another
Texas.
Texan.
Yeah.
We just can't get out of
Everyone
Texas.
needs to move to Texas soon. I used to live in Dallas, but I probably if the world changes more and more, Texas will be the only place to live.
So where you living, Big Neil?
I live in Mentor, Ohio, outside of Cleveland, but I lived in Dallas. I lived in Plano, and I lived in Plano, and oh my gosh, now it's hitting me. It was Plano and somewhere else in outside in Dallas. So those are the two places. What was the place where where the Bulls run and stuff? See, I lived in two places in Dallas, so I'm thinking not
Fort
the
Worth and the cattle
yeah,
yards?
yeah. Thanks.
Or
Fort Worth.
Pamplona,
Yeah.
Spain.
No, I didn't
where you
live
get gored by
Pamplona. So
bulls.
this is where my brain, because I do so many different things, Casey. But yes, I lived in both Fort Worth and Plano. So
Awesome.
not in 2 years. So that was awesome, Texas, because I love the weather and also I don't mind the heat. And there's so much going on in Texas. I didn't, and my one former my client that also used to be my boss, they had a company in Lensec that was in Houston, Texas, that did cyber security campers for so I was involved in the company where they did software for security cameras, and it's at Lensec's location was in Houston. So I went to a training in Houston. That's the only time I was in Houston. So
There you go.
there's my whole
Well,
thing. All right.
ladies, yes, you're absolutely right. It is true crime. It is absolutely crime. So I love the simulcast deal. How much time do we have? for
Yeah, we
this
have about
podcast?
so we'll be done at 3:30. So we got till 3:30. So which is 2:30 your time.
3:30. Okay, so we got an hour and a half.
No, 2:30. You're two right now. It's 2:03 in Houston, right?
Yeah, I'm central
So
now.
so you're 2:30. You're done. We're 2:33. 2:30 will be your end. So 30 minutes. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Let's get started. Hold on here. Something happened, Jennifer. Two Casey Flemings. How did that happen? Rename.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've become Casey. I don't want to be in DC. I'm
And
reflecting.
you're okay. Stand by, guys. We're rock and roll. All right.